Hey there, Autism Fitness founder Eric Chessen, leading the movement for movement and bringing you, yes, you, and everybody behind you. There's nobody behind you. There might be someone behind you. Bringing you another edition of Autism Fitness Tuesday training, where I take a concept, a strategy, a practice, something that we use in autism fitness programming, and bring it to you in a short, digestible format so that you can bring it to your autism and neurodivergent life skill or even sports specific athletes so that they can have the wondrous benefits of strength training and fitness in their lives. And that's just what we're going to get to in a couple of seconds. But first, please, I know it's annoying because everybody does it. And anyway, like, subscribe, share, but definitely subscribe. Getting that follower count up does something. And if you're interested in the Autism Fitness certification, go to autismfitness.com. The link is in the comment section below. But before all that, in this edition, I am going to be talking about the reasons to not do fitness. And this is actually more the other side, so kind of devil's advocate stuff, or some of the reasons why a program may not already be implementing a fitness program for their autism and neurodivergent clients or learners or students or members, however they are categorizing or naming in that particular facility or organization or clinic. So, number one is going to be it's too hard. All right. Well, too difficult for whom? For the individuals? Because I gotta say, between myself and a lot of our other autism fitness certified pros, we have countless not only anecdotes or even research, but videos of athletes, even athletes who need a high level of support, performing strength training exercises and programming. So it's not that the individual can't, it's understanding how the program needs to be scalable. And of course, in autism fitness programming, using our PAC profile, physical, adaptive, and cognitive, we can scale all three areas of skill development. We can scale the exercises themselves. We can scale how we provide positive behavior support and the amount of reinforcement. And of course, we can scale our coaching and cueing to meet the particular needs of that individual. So it's too hard is number one, a gross overstatement, and it's also relative to the individual. We can ask the question of what is too hard, or what makes it too difficult, or why is this perceived as too challenging? And gotta ask, is it too challenging for the individuals, or is it too challenging or too hard for the person implementing that? More on that in a little bit. So it's too hard doesn't really mean anything, which segues us into reason number two is that, oh, they don't like it, or oh, they hate exercise, which is common, but sorry, gotta call that one too. This typically arises the first or maybe even the second time someone tries to implement a fitness program. And when we say fitness program, again, we need to break out our operational definition binder of what do we mean by fitness? What do we mean by exercise? I cannot tell you how many conversations I've had with people where once I ask them, oh, what did you try? Because they say, oh, this individual hated fitness. Oh, we attempted to have them go on a treadmill for 15 minutes and they got upset or they didn't like it. Of course not. Most people don't like the treadmill, and that's certainly not what we're talking about when we're talking about general strength and fitness programs, the kind that are going to utilize resistance training exercises in order to improve activities of daily living and independent functioning and quality of life. Those are two different things. So it's not necessarily that the individual hates fitness. They may have had an adverse reaction, and often rightfully so, not only to the exercise modality, but to the way that it was introduced or coached and cued. Maybe have to language was used a lot. You have to do this, you have to do that. And lo and behold, the individual did not find that reinforcing. Well, really, who would? So all of these things need to be taken into account. And it's not so simple or closed door to say, oh, they hated it, or oh, they can't do it. I love to dispel those myths more than anything else, because we must understand how capable our ASD and neurodivergent individuals truly are when we set up the environment, when we have scalability in our programming, when we understand and apply appropriate positive behavior support, and when we understand how to coach and cue our athletes towards success. It is completely different. It is a game changer, and that brings me to number three. Number three reason to not have a fitness program is we already do sports. Okay, interesting. The issue with sports, and I have several in a different video, I go through the difference between general fitness or resistance training and sports, is sports are very particular. And most individuals who participate in sports are the ones who are already good at sports or already generally athletic. Now, I'll give a cool example. I really like this one because even if you haven't implemented fitness programs for the autism population, you may be aware that athletes of all different sports, whether it is hockey or baseball or mixed martial arts or volleyball or kayaking or triathlons, all of these athletes in all of these different sports also very, very often, and more popular than any time in history, strength train, right? Basic resistance-based exercises, the same kind that we're implementing in our autism fitness programs. Why? Because getting stronger and more powerful and developing endurance, both strength endurance and cardiovascular endurance, generally will generalize or carry over to their specific sport, but it doesn't really work the other way around. So certainly there are some sports that have a high cardiovascular demand and different types of cardio at that. So you can take basketball, or you can take soccer, or again, you can take hockey, or you can take, track and field. Of course, there's a cardiovascular component to this, but that is not going to build real world applicable strength. It can't, because that is not the modality or mechanism by way these sports are played. So rather than going specific to general, we want to go from general to specific, and we also want to make sure that every individual participates. So if you've ever seen a PE class, it doesn't even need to be an adapted PE class, and regardless of what sport it is everybody participating at the same time? Are they getting adequate participation time? Are they developing the skills? The more questions that we ask about that, the more questions come up. And when we compare that to the high scalability of something like resistance training, where if we have 4 or 5 or 6 neurodivergent athletes, all of them may be squatting to boxes or benches of different heights. All of them may be pressing dumbbells or sandbells or soft bells of different weights and at different sets and repetitions, but they're all getting the same general training effect or benefit out of it, right? So we want to go general to specific. Sports are fine, but they are not the answer to general physical activity by way of their specialization. It's like saying, well, you need more protein in your diet. Yes, I have carrots. Carrots are great, but they don't provide protein. It's the same comparison and contrast between resistance training and sports. Sports are great, they are lovely, but they are not the answer to getting general fitness. And on a long enough timeline, are individuals in their uh, childhood age and adolescence and teens, are they still going to be participating in those sports as adults? Likely not. But can you start in resistance training and weight training in your adolescence and teens and still be doing it in your 30s and 40s and 50s and 70s? Absolutely. So there's longevity to resistance training that may not be there, and an opportunity to resistance training that may not be there for particular sports for this population. And finally, it's the time and we don't know how factor. And I could separate these here, but I'm going to bring them together. So we don't have time for fitness is a priority issue, right? If you don't prioritize it, it's not going to get done. So if we're recognizing and acknowledging and accepting that fitness is a crucial, if you're not accepting that, then why are you even at this point in the video, really? But if we're not accepting that fitness is a critical component of quality of life and greater independence for everybody, but in particular our autism and neurodivergent population, we could say it, but what are we doing about it? So the prioritization thing exerts itself over the we don't have time. If it's important, we make time for it. If it's important, we make time for it, right? So we build it into the day. And there are a bunch of different ways that we can do this in schools and clinics and organizations and residential programs, anywhere. We just need to prioritize it, and then we can build it in, which segues to the final reason why we can't do fitness with the ASD and neurodivergent population is we don't know how. Well, it is challenging. I'm not going to say go out there and just start today, because where do you start? What do you do? That's why in Autism Fitness, we have our PAC profile to assess and address the 3 areas of ability: physical, so from the exercise and programming side; adaptive, from the positive behavior support and motivation and focus aspect; and then, of course, cognitive functioning, communication, short-term memory, and kinesthetic awareness, all these things that we need to be aware of in order to provide the best possible coaching, cueing, interaction with our athletes, whether working one-to-one or groups, to ensure that they are getting the best possible experience for the best possible outcome. So those were the reasons. I know there's a little more sarcasm than usual in this one, but the reasons why we're not doing fitness, or the most common ones that we hear in autism fitness, why organizations are not either prioritizing or incorporating general strength and fitness programs for their individuals with ASD and other neurodivergencies. Of course, if you're at this point in the video, you are either one of our certified pros or interested in becoming a certified pro, or interested in finding a certified pro. So head on over to autismfitness.com. You can learn all about the pro certification, the expert level certification. There's even a master level certification, and of course our site certification for clinics and schools and residential facilities to integrate the best possible fitness and adapted PE programs for the individuals that you're working with. I'd love to know if any of these resonate with you, so leave that in the comments below. If you have a topic that you'd like me to cover in a future edition of Autism Fitness Tuesday Training, leave that in the comments below also. Again, don't forget to subscribe. It does good stuff. I'm Eric Chessen, founder of Autism Fitness, leading the movement for movement. Thank you very much for watching.